Good morning, and Happy New Year! I'm the intern minister, Carrie Holley-Hurt. Welcome home. Unitarian Universalism is unambiguously, unapologetically progressive. This church affirms the inherent worth and dignity of all people through anti-racism, anti-oppression, supporting the LGBTQIA+ community, for reproductive justice, voting rights, and other issues as needed. We seek to build beloved community, not only here, but in our surrounding area as well. And we bring a spirit of joy to it all. It's so good. It is so good to be with you together on this first day of 2023. So please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
So I'm so happy to be here with you today, especially this beginning of the new year. It feels auspicious to me. And I'm Donna Durbin, and I want to say there's many things to love about Live Oak, but I was thinking one of the special things that we've had the opportunity to do is have some incredible intern ministers, and you're going to see today. Carrie will be giving the service, and I'm just really happy to be doing that with her, be able to be up here. So I'd also like to welcome any guests that we have today. And so if this is your first time here, I hope you'll go out and stop at the visitors table in the narthex outside of the sanctuary so that we can get to know you a little bit and also to answer any questions that you might have. As part of our mission, we want to enhance the connections between each of us and also with the outside world. So you can stay connected with everything that's happening at Live Oak through our weekly email newsletter. And if you're not getting that already, you can sign up at the visitors table or you can go to our website. And we encourage you during the service to keep your phone on, and if you hear something you like, maybe to post that, or even to ask someone of your friends to join you at the service next week. So now, for those of you that are at home, if you have chalices, if you will get them and light them as we light our chalice, I'll ask our chalice lighter to come forward this morning, and I will read words from Lois Van Leer. We light this chalice on the brink of the new year, letting go of what has been, open and hopeful for what may come, renewed, restored, ready to live fully anew, May we move forward with intention. Good. No, you can just leave it. That's good. Yeah, yes. Thank you. Yay. This is a congregation bound not by creed but by covenant. So may those who are in agreement with the covenant affirm this covenant now. We affirm a caring community of and for all ages, seeking wisdom, doing service, and living with integrity. In our diversity, our covenant holds us in unity as we celebrate our shared spiritual journey.
A special part of Unitarian Universalist Sunday service is the time of sharing joys and sorrows. I think of it as a time that we keep vigil for one another, when we give one another the gift of being present to those among us who have had a special milestone in their own personal lives, some particular joy or sorrow that is important for the congregation to know. And today, Rosie offers up, I got peppermint chocolate gelato yesterday. Sounds amazing. And Sue Buckley says, all of Live Oak extends our deepest sympathies to Hella. Her husband of 60 plus years has died. Often what's heavy on our hearts are our fears that we have fallen short. We know we have left undone those things we ought to have done, and that we have done those things we ought not to have done. May we have the courage to be honest with ourselves, the willingness to make amends, and the compassion to accept forgiveness from others and from ourselves, trusting in the assurance that imperfection is expected and love is the guiding and healing force with which we align our lives.
Good morning. Happy New Year. So this morning for our wondering time, I want to share a story with you from the Unitarian minister, Robert Fulghum. And it's about a story he heard, that he shared, when he was at a seminar on a Greek island. And on the last day of the conference, after this long, beautiful conference, the leader walked over to the bright light of an open window and he looked out and he asked, "Are there any questions?" Silence. And Robert Fulghum, being funny, said, "Yeah, can you tell us what the meaning of life is?" Everybody kind of laughed, started gathering up their things, and the professor stood there. And he said, "I will answer your question." And the room went silent. And he said, he took out his wallet. "Take out your mirrors. Did everybody get a mirror?" Yeah. he pulled out his wallet, and he removed from his wallet a small, round mirror. And then he decided he would explain. When I was a small child living here in Greece during World War II, I found a bunch of shattered mirror on the ground. It was from a German motorcycle who had had an accident. I gathered up all of the glass and I tried to put it back together, but I couldn't. So I took the largest piece and I put it in my pocket. And when I got home, I took it and I put it on a rock and I kept rubbing it and rubbing it and rubbing it, and I made it round and took all the sharp pieces off. And then as a child, we were poor, it was during the war, I would use that mirror as a toy. And I would take that mirror and I would shine it at the light. And I would see if I could get it to reflect light into the darkest corner or the darkest crevice. And it was a game for me. But I always kept that mirror and I'd keep it in my pocket. Everybody try it. See if you can catch the light. Can you catch the light? The light might not be bright enough. But it was a game that he did all the time. As he became a man, he grew to understand that this was not just a child's game, but a metaphor of what he could do with his life. He came to understand that he's not, and we are not, the source of the light. But light, be it truth or understanding or knowledge, is there, and it will only shine in many dark places if we reflect it. So, we are all a fragment of the mirror whose whole design and shape of the whole mirror. We are all just a fragment of it. Nevertheless, with what you can reflect light into the dark places of the world, into the dark places of the human heart, and change some things in some people. Perhaps others seeing it happen will also shine their light into the dark places. I wonder, where will you shine your light in this new year? And with that, our story is told.
And now would you please rise in body and or spirit to sing hymn 326, Let All the Beauty We Have Known. Ashworth. Why do we start a new year with promises to improve? Who began this tradition of never-ending pressure? I say the end of a year should be filled with congratulation for all we survived. And I say A new year should start with promises to be kinder to ourselves, to understand better just how much we bear as humans on this exhausting treadmill of life. And if we are to promise more, let's pledge to rest before our bodies force us. Let's pledge to stop and drink in life as it happens. Let's pledge to strip away a layer of perfection to reveal the flawed and wondrous humanity we truly are inside. Why start another year gifted to us on this earth with demands on our already overstrained humanity, when we could be learning to accept that we were always supposed to be imperfect? And that is where the beauty lives, actually. And if we can only find that beauty, we would also find peace.
As Unitarian Universalists, we say that we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of all people. It's the first of our other 7 principles that we hold up by way of belief. It's so beautiful, and it's so useful, especially when we're trying to explain our religion to Aunt Martha over Christmas dinner. But I think we tend to treat it as a beautiful vase that we put up on a shelf. Yeah, we pull it down every once in a while when we want to defend our position, justify our justice work, or get Martha off our back. But do we actually take it off that shelf and examine it? We don't tend to struggle with it. We don't tend to think about its nuance. We don't tend to think critically about it. I mean, search your heart. Do you really, right now, believe that all people have inherent worth and dignity, like right now, like where you are in your lives, where we are as a country. Now, if you said yes, that's amazing, and I appreciate the work you've done on yourself. If you said no, or not quite, or even heck no, I'm there with you. I aspire to the first principle. I aspire to all of our principles, but I'm not going to get there if I just put it on some shelf and point to it when it's strategic. Rather, I think we need to pull it off of the shelf and think more deeply about it, and then we practice them. Start living into them. So, and caveat, we are you. So, you do not have to believe or accept the principles to be a Unitarian Universalist. Our Unitarian Universalist forebears were very, very clear that there is no creed in our religion. We have covenants, not creeds. We agree to healthy relationships. So the principles should never be misconstrued as a creed, as something you have to believe. But I think they're pretty good. And even if you don't fully believe them, you can use them as spiritual practices, a way to move deeper into your own beliefs. So play around with them. Get curious about where they hit for you or where they grate for you. And that's what I want to do this morning. I want to bring down that first principle off the shelf and think about what it means, especially at this time of the year when the self-improvement advertisements are nonstop. How do we play around with the inherent worth and dignity of all people in a way that applies to who we are? As if we took that mirror from our time of wonder and we reflected the light of our principle onto us. So first, let's get some clarity. What do we mean when we say inherent worth and dignity? My translation is that it's a belief that everyone's worth is set. It cannot be lost. It cannot be added to. We have worth because we exist. That's it. And because we have worth, we are deserving of respect and care. We deserve to be believed, to allowed to enjoy our life, to be ourselves, to live out our purpose. And now, before someone throws a whole monkey wrench into my sermon and makes the Hitler arguments, let's just say this. The inherent worth and dignity of all people does not mean that all people do good things. And it does not mean that we shouldn't be critical and make wise decisions about whose opinions or leaderships we are willing to accept. It means they're humans, just as we are humans. And we respond to humans the way our morals, our ethics, and our inner wisdom require of us. It means that we hold each other and ourselves accountable. And of course, this is a sermon for another time. But let me just say that when we dehumanize other people, even those that dehumanize others, we lose our ability to hold them accountable. And where there is no accountability, hate and violence grow. Okay, but hopefully none of us here are the Hitler types. So let's just get back to ourselves and reflect our own inherent worth and dignity. Now, I imagine for some of you, you're thinking, great, let's go. And for others, you might be thinking, ugh, I should have slept in this morning. So before I completely lose the sleepy crowd, let me be clear. I am not trying to sell you some toxic, positive concept about how you have to love yourself before others can love you. I think that's harmful and completely out of touch with reality. Reverend Teresa Soto wrote, "I know that people have told you that before you can give, you have to get yourself together. They overstate the value of perfection by a lot. Or they forget. You are the gift." And so with that, with the knowledge that you are the gift, just as you are, let's get curious about ways we can internalize our own inherent worth and dignity, with the hope that as we internalize our worth and dignity, We can lessen our inner turmoil. Maybe we can move through the world with a bit more ease and possibly inspire others to do the same for themselves. All right, now I know that's a big, but hopefully exciting goal for the new year, but let's start. Okay, so first, I think when we want to practice in understanding our own inherent worth and dignity, we have to practice believing ourselves, or rather, believing our emotional reality. For instance, when we're going through a hard time, we can just believe that we're struggling, that we're hurting, that we're sad or angry, instead of saying, someone else has it worse. Y'all do that, right? Yeah, I've heard that a lot of times from countless people, including myself. And honestly, I believe it comes from a good place. I think people jump to someone has it worse because they're aware of the world and the harm that so many people face on a daily basis, and they understand their own privilege in relation to that. I get it. I have complete empathy for it. But comparing our pain to other people's pain does not prevent their pain. It doesn't make their pain go away. Those who have gone through unspeakable tragedy or daily harm do not get a gold medal because their pain is worse. As Reverend Chris Jimerson says, there is no oppression Olympics. What happens when we shut down our pain by that kind of comparison is that we invalidate our experience. But let's think of it in a different way. Let's say you're going for a bike ride or a hike and you have an accident and you break your leg. That hurts. We all know that's gonna really hurt. Now imagine the first person that comes by takes one look at you and says, oh, I don't know, it's still attached. I knew a guy who had a horrible car accident and he lost his leg, so you must be okay. How would you feel? You know, if it were me, I'd be pretty mad. I would be pretty scared that that was going to be the only person that came by today, and I'd probably have some choice words for him. But the reality would still be there. My leg would still be broken. I would still be in pain. Our emotional experiences are just as valid as our physical ones. Just because we say it's not bad, it doesn't hurt, that someone else has it worth, doesn't make it true. And it doesn't make it go away. When we take that approach, we just stuff those feelings down where they might get muffled, but they don't go away. What tends to happen is they come out in stress in the body, maybe chronic pain, chronic illness, or chronic bad mood that we just can't shake. It's bad for our bodies. It's bad for our moods. It's bad for our relationships. But when we practice mirroring back our own inherent worth and dignity, we can just believe ourselves and experience our emotions. And in a great twist, that when we experience our emotions, it's the quickest way to move them through our bodies. When we believe ourselves and let ourselves feel our emotions, they rise, they peak, and then they go away. Basil A. van der Kolk, in The Body Keeps the Score, wrote, neuroscience research shows that the only way we can change the way we feel is becoming aware of our internal experience and learning to befriend what's going on inside ourselves. And I do want to pause, because of course, sometimes they don't just move through. Sometimes you can feel stuck in an emotional response or an obsessive thought. That's a very real and very hard place. And if this is happening to you, I hope that you are able to reach out to Reverend Joanna or I, a therapist, or a healthy, emotionally mature friend. You are worth it. You are always, always worth it. But remember, what we're doing here is practicing, okay? So we're not putting another thing on our perfectionist to-do list. And the next time you have an experience where you are invalidating your emotional response, that's okay. Because now you have awareness, right? Now you can know that that's what I've done, and you can start to course correct. You can notice that you've invalidated them and take a moment to check in. What are you feeling? Sometimes I'll just put my hand on my chest and I'll close my eyes and I'll just ask myself, what's going on? What's coming up for you? It's just a simple check-in to show some compassion for myself and to become aware of what's going on inside of me. And it might feel weird or uncomfortable at first, but honestly, that's just because it's not your current habit. Practice is how we make new habits. Practice is how we get comfortable checking in. Practice, not perfection. Next, what if we got more curious about the expectations we carry? You know, all those things that we think we need to do or should accomplish or should own by age whatever. What if you get more curious about those things? And I'm not saying goals. I love goals. Clearly, this internship is a part of the biggest goal I've ever had. And it's growing me and stretching me and refining my call in a way that would never have happened. Love goals. But what I'm talking about are those unhelpful expectations. The ones maybe you create for yourself, the ones that have been created by your family or your friends or society. Those expectations that do not fit well with who you are or how your life is actually going. Those expectations that are carrots on sticks, always out of reach and always in your face. When I was working for the legislature, after working hard to get my master's in public policy, I just kept getting sicker and sicker because my body was telling me to stop. But I had this expectation that success looked like working in the field where I had my degree, that success was climbing the legislative ladder, that success was vesting so that I could get a pension. And if I didn't do all that, then I failed. And then on top of that, I had a fun expectation that I don't fail. That was a harmful expectation. It did not fit me. It did not fit my reality. It was unrealistic, and it held me back for far, far too long from what I was meant to do and be. And how often do we do that? How often do we work towards expectations that do not work for us? Especially those well-worn hand-me-downs, those bad family heirlooms that hold us to impossible standards. Like the expectation that we get married, and that we marry a certain type of person of a particular gender, or that marriage results in children and a lifelong commitment. And maybe that works for you. Great. But what if it doesn't? When we hold on to others' expectations, we often do it to our own detriment. Or maybe we hold on to expectations from society that say your car should look like this, your house should look like this, your kids should look like this. Your face and body better align with the new season style of faces and bodies. Right now, social media is full of advertisements telling you how you can lose weight, lose years off your face, balance your hormones, be stronger. In essence, be more valuable to society. The wellness industry is a $4.4 trillion industry. That's $4.4 trillion. And they are more than happy to saddle you with expectations, all the while compromising your mental well-being and physical health. So instead of all that, instead of carrying around the weight of ill-fitting expectations, what if we practiced, and what if we got curious about what does and does not work for us? What goals make sense for our lives? What goals work for what we want to work towards? What will enhance our lives and bring us joy? What will help us move more deeply into who we are? What if we practice letting go of expectations? What if we brought some awareness to them, and as they come, we just allow them to pass? Because when we are reflecting back our own inherent worth and dignity, we are good as is. We have nothing to prove. To paraphrase Reverend Nadia Boltz-Weber, there is no resolution that, if kept, will make you more worthy. You are already worthy. And if this is true, and I believe it is with every fiber of my being, then when we work towards our goals, we are only enhancing our experience of this life. We are not adding or detracting from our worth. Our worth is inherent. Our worth is set. So I hope this year, 2023, you can bring that first principle off the shelf, dust it off, and think about what it means for you, how it helps you to navigate old habits of invalidating yourself, how it can help you to let go of harmful expectations, and how it can give you the freedom to focus your energy on those things that enrich your life, your mental well-being, and your time on this planet. Now I invite you to join me in a time of reflection in word and in silence. From Thich Nhat Hanh. First act of love is to breathe in and go home to your body. Be aware of your body as the beginning of self-love. When mind goes home to the body, the mind and body are established in the here and now. Let us hold that for a moment of silence together. Amen, and blessed be.
So we are the tradition of the Free Church, and that means that there's no outside source that supports us, but we are supported from within. And therefore, generosity is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and our institutional well-being. We share what is offered each week with an organization that upholds our Unitarian Universalist values. And this month we are sharing with U Bar U. U Bar U is a Unitarian Universalist camp in Kerrville. It's the only Unitarian Universalist camp in our southwest area, and provides camps for our youth as well as space for retreats for adults. And you'll be able to read more about that if you want in our upcoming newsletter. So may an offering be received in gratitude and love.
Sweet and
morning there is no faith development hour, and I invite you to enjoy a cup of coffee and fellowship with your fellow members, and Happy New Year.
Now please rise as you're willing and able for our closing hymn, 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
May your new year be full of softness. May you find ease with your imperfect self. May you feel worth both in easy and in challenging times. And may you know joy beyond measure and distribute love extravagantly, ever assured that even on hard days, life is a blessing.
So if the chalice lighter will come forward and extinguish the chalice for us as we say these words together. Okay, so we extinguish this chalice flame, daring to carry forward the vision of this free faith. And now, as we depart, we extend and receive the gift of hospitality by taking the next few minutes to talk to someone that we don't yet know well, and may we all know the blessings of friendship and community. Happy New Year.